What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest of cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on? So, welcome to Wednesday's episode. So, if you have not already, please tune into Monday, where we talk about some of the fallout and remnants of the MGM data breach. On Tuesday, we discussed how Cisco acquired Splunk. So it's like a $28 billion acquisition that's currently going through the works because they want that AI goodness, right? So you're going to see a lot more of these acquisitions and purchases in the near future. And then Thursday will probably be a throwback. I'm not exactly sure which episode I'm going to showcase. I like to have metrics, right? Like, is it going to be the most viewed? Is it going to be the most recent? Or not the most recent, but my favorite. Like, I'll figure out what the parameters are, and then I'll post that one as well. If you would like to be on Accuses P, please go ahead and reach out to me. I'll shoot you a link. We'll get you booked. Please tune into last week's, where I talked to Delisha Hodo. She is the Assistant Director of Advising over at SANS Institute Academy. So if you're looking to join the cyber team of some sort, right? You want to crossover, you want to transition, you are a veteran, a person of color, you've HBCU attendee or alumnus, there you go. There's multiple tracks for you to get into cybersecurity through SAN, so check it out. Not a veiled advertisement, they did not pay me. So without further ado, I'll give it to Shannon.
All right, everybody. This one comes from thehackernews.com. And the title of this one is China accuses U.S. of decade-long cyber espionage campaign against Huawei servers, right? I'm probably saying that wrong. Huawei. Huawei. Huawei.
Or Huawei. I say Huawei.
Huawei, yeah. Huawei servers. So this actually comes out on the heels of the one we reported before, right? Where we were talking about how China had hacked some government officials, right? And they didn't necessarily deny it. They were just like, hey, it ain't like you ain't been doing dirt. You know what I mean? That's kind of their response to it.
Right.
So you know what I mean? But like, it's one of those things where this is, I don't doubt this, right? Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, no, that can't be true. We wouldn't do anything like that, right? Like, everybody's doing it to everybody, right? And it's just a matter of, like, even with our allies, like, I know there is some spying going on, but it's just a matter of where it may not be as evasive as this was, right? So, but China's Ministry of State Security accused the U.S. of breaking into, say it again, Huawei's servers.
You said, yeah, Huawei. Yep.
Huawei servers, stealing critical data and implanting backdoors since 2009 amid mounting geopolitical tensions between the two countries, right? So on their WeChat, it's something they use over in China, they said U.S. intelligence agencies have done everything possible to conduct surveillance, secret theft, and intrusions on many countries around the world, including China, using powerful cyber attack arsenal, right? They didn't say what specifically we did, you know what I mean? They just say, hey, since 2009, and they specifically called out the NSA, right? So the NSA's Computer Network Operations, which was formerly called the Office of Tailored Access Operations, or TAO, T-A-O. And they said those guys are repeatedly in there doing stuff they don't need to be doing, right? So, but they first made this allegation back in September of 2022, right? So it's one of those things where they were like, "You guys have been doing this for a long time." Again, I can't sit here and say I doubt it, right? Because everybody's doing it to everybody. Like, I know they are. Like, there's no way we are gathering the intelligence we are, or reporting the things that we do without going in there doing, some type of spying. You know what I mean? It's just the way it is, right? So again, this does come on the heels of us reaching out to China and say, knock it off, right? Like, you're going after our government, which seems a little bit different, right? So not to say that it's right, but this is a company that's operating on profit, right? It's not, you're not going after a country's government, right? Which is charged with doing several things to protect its people, right? You know what I mean? Like defense and things of that nature, provide services, you know what I mean? I'm not doing anything like that, but it's just one of those things where, yeah, again, I can't doubt it, right? They they go into some details on some things, right? On what they've been doing. So they list all these other countries, right? They say you've been doing this for more than 10 years against China, Russia. Then they name like 45 other countries and regions around the world. But this is kind of how, I don't want to call it a game, but this is how the game is played, right? Like DMX says, it's not a game, you know what I mean?
Right.
But it is a game, right? It's just what we do. Um, like we're coming off, like the US is coming off like, hey, we're victims in all of this. Like look at what they did to us, you know what I mean? Like it's not necessarily propaganda, but it's kind of, it can be construed that way, right? Like we're going to sit here and say, oh, like we're going to clutch our pearls when you come after our officials when we've been doing it as well, you know what I mean? I think that's what China is trying to get out there, is like, you're not as innocent as you're making yourself out to be, right? So but it is what it is. Again, on the heels of the micro, I think it was Microsoft. It's Microsoft hacked, right?
Yeah, it was the big
Yeah,
yellow taxi that we
yeah,
talked
yeah. The yellow taxi caught it. Yep, yep, yep. Taxi cab, whatever it was called. Yeah,
about.
one that caught it. But yeah, they're out there putting business out in the streets, right? They're like, you're not going to sit here and just have everybody going against us. We're going to show that you're doing this too, right? And it's only a matter of time before it's going to be other superpowers, right? Other countries as well, right? You're going to have, you know, countries in Europe are going to be doing it, right? France is going to come out. France has been doing it. England's been doing it. The UK's been doing it. It's going to come out, right? But right now, because we're going so hard after China, you know, and Russia, we're the ones that got to take it this time. So again, this is this is how the game is played, right? Like we're not, intelligence gathering is not them doing something that they put out there and we just happen to catch it, right? There are times where we have to be evasive and we have to go in there and get this information and we figure it out. And this is what comes of it, right? You get stories like this. So what's your thoughts on this, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, duh. Like so that's what they should have said. That should have been a response back. Like, so I'm surprised that they only go back as recently as 2009, right? So if anything, like when this was brought up to whomever, right, the powers that be, we're like, that's it. So that's all you're tracking? Like you know we made the internet. We've been tracking you and listening to all your data and all that good stuff since the inception of DARPANET. So but okay, 2009, we'll take it. We'll take that jab. Yeah, I mean, we talked about it. I think it's been almost 2 years since all of those tools from the NSA were pilfered, right? Like, so we are masterful in this game, right? Like we make the tools that you're currently using to break into our systems. If that's the case, right? Like we may have given you those tools. Like who's to say like all this, spy versus spy uh type stuff. We are masters at the craft. So it is a big duh. But yeah, I think you're right. I think it's a pro China campaign to try to say, well, like the U.S. is pointing fingers at us, so we're going to point fingers back and what have you. But every nation state is spying on every other nation state. It's just the way it is, right? Just how pervasive is it, depending upon your relationships between the two. So I I take no offense to it. If anything, it's a pat on the back. Like, yes, yes, we do it, and we're doing it better than you are. But we talked about, I don't know if we talked about it on the show or we just talked about it in our chat, but to the point where Chinese officials are now being told that they can't use iPhones and things of that nature, right? Like they're cycling them off of all non-Chinese brands. One, probably because they can spy on their own people. But two, so we have less of a chance of getting in there. But this was hacking through Huawei, right? Which is I think Huawei is a little bit closer to China's government than like a TCL or something like that, right? We have Huawei on lists. I can't remember what the name of the list is, but basically it's I believe it's the Department of Treasury where we have sanctions, right? You can't have Huawei devices or anything that comes from the Huawei supply chain. So you'll Huawei is called 10 or 20 different things, right? They have subsidiaries. They try to because they need to make money. They make profit not only for themselves as an institution, but also for the Chinese government. And then their components are used worldwide. So we have an active um,
Ban.
list of different companies that we do not want those devices either to be in the States, or we don't want them to be within the Department of Defense, within the supply chain. So with that being said, duh, right? Like, yeah, I can see them on the opposite end, like we don't want Apple products or whatever, like they make them, but they're still American brands within their supply chain, because we can use those to pivot into their networks. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. I'm not trying to actually defend our hacking or whatever. I'm rooting for the home team. But yeah, and we're in those systems. And we're proud of it.
So it's kind of like, so we did actually do the story on this. We actually did this on the podcast. This was one that we actually went into, because my thinking on it was that they're going to start hacking at Apple. You know what I mean? So they told their government officials to get off of it, right? But it's kind of crazy because they're making them over there in China anyway, right? So it just has to go 2 miles from the factory to the,
Right. It'd be like going to an Amazon fulfillment store.
Yeah,
Like it's right there.
so
No
like,
tariffs, no
yeah,
taxes, right? Like you're making it down the street. But I can see, like, it's probably Apple won't play ball with them to most likely say we want backdoors, we want access, we want more whatever, because they're an American company. Like, no, you're not getting that. So okay, we're going to transition off of you to Huawei's brand of cell phone, or I'm sure I can't think of any Chinese brands off the top of my head, to deny American access, but then also acquire our own access, right? To spy on our own people, because their surveillance is their internal surveillance. Like I'm patting myself on the back about America's ability to reach out to other nation states and pull data, and we're again masters of the craft when it comes to hacking. But their internal surveillance, bar none, the best in the world, right? So in their case, like we want even more access to our own people to make sure that they're in tow, right? They're following the regime and what have you. So and I was debating between this article and another one, but I was like, yeah, I mean, give us our flowers, give us our kudos when it comes to our ability to perform reconnaissance on our near peers, so to speak. So it is what it is all I have to say. So well, with that said, please tune in. Again, we're doing really well this month. So I think we still have like 6 or 7 days left in the month, and we're almost 2,000. So that'd be cool if we did hit 2,000. My what I'll keep saying is like, you keep this level of effort up. All right. Don't tease us and bring us this high up, and then like all these green arrows on my metrics, and then turn around and we go back down to regular, which was great. But I don't want to see those red arrows. I want to see the downward trend. Right? We're over here in the 2000s. I want to stay there. So definitely like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you have not already, please go to our YouTube page and subscribe there as well. I'm not asking you to listen to us and then watch those videos, but you can play them in the background. Get our streams up. That would be great. So greatly appreciate it. Please go to the websites that go by our name. Hit me up personally at RY Security Guy. That's RY Security Guy. I'm on LinkedIn, Clubhouse, Twitter, and Threads. Stay safe, stay secure.